I emphasize demagoguery rather than demagogues. And a lot of people, the way that they talk about it is as though you've got this community and it's going along and suddenly this bad person comes along and seduces the community into terrible things. But that is never quite how it plays out. Instead, what happens is that a community has shifted to making all decisions, or at least all political decisions, on the basis of us versus them. I started working on this project. I was actually in the midst of a book about the arguments for slavery. And it was completely demagoguery. And it was really disturbing to me because one of the characteristics of the antebellum era was that you only read newspapers that were your political party. And it was incredibly disturbing to me looking at the build-up to the Iraq invasion and to see a situation that was so similar, people living in these informational enclaves and sincerely believing things had happened that had never happened, but that they'd heard about repeated so often by people that they trusted. So in the antebellum era, one of the characteristics of it was that anybody who said, I think that we need to work this through, I think we need to think about the long-term pragmatic issues, got screamed out of the room as disloyal to group. And then to look around and see that in 2003, that was the same thing that was happening. That people were saying, even trying to argue about whether this is pragmatic, how much is this really going to cost, how well is it going to work, how might it go wrong, was treated as you're on the side of terrorists. And so since then, I've just been expecting that demagogues would come along, and they did, and there are a lot of them. Actually, rhetoric is the antidote to demagoguery. You know, that being comfortable with argumentation, being comfortable with disagreement is what makes people feel like they don't need to go to demagoguery.